What just happened today has never happened in the history of American politics ever. One president calling out a former president for acts of sedition, pure treason, publicly on live national television. President Trump has literally taken the gloves off. I've never seen anything like this in the history of my life. I'm going to share with you exactly what Trump said. I'm going to share with you the exact clip in its entirety. Also, that's not the only person he calls out. He even calls out Adam Schiff in his masterful, nuanced art of politics, art of the deal fashion, without kind of implicating himself as somebody who's the curator of this or the perpetrator of this. It's absolute brilliance. Then I'm going to share with you President Obama responds to Tulsi Gabbard's intelligence report, which we did a full video on, and what President Trump said today. And then I just got some breaking news right before recording this. Tulsi Gabbard has just responded to Barack Obama's response. So I got a lot for you. Your boy Nez, as always, is going to take care of everything. Grab your favorite drink, your favorite snack, sit back, relax, and let's go with the first clip of President Trump dropping nothing short of a nuclear bomb on the Obama administration. Watch.
Very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt. Just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up all the way going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start, after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level.
We have literally never seen anything like that ever. He even continued when he was asked to, he was probed a little bit further in this watch this quick 30-second clip where he calls out Obama for being the ringleader. Check this out.
No, Barack Hussein Obama is the ringleader. Hillary Clinton was right there with him, and so was Sleepy Joe Biden, and so were the rest of them. Comey, Clapper, the whole group. And they tried to rig an election, and they got caught. And then they did rig the election in 2020. And then because I knew I won that election by a lot, I did it a third time, and I won in a landslide. Every swing state won the popular vote. But I won that all the same way in 2020. And look at the damage that was caused.
You know, it's a lot different this time. You know, you might be saying, well, Nez, he called out Biden, he called out Clinton, he's called out plenty of people. He's got nicknames for everybody. No, this is different because Obama was considered the untouchable. Obama was considered the golden boy of the party. He's literally the ringleader of the entire Democratic cabal. Him, Holly Weirdo, Soros. It's all being governed and architected by his command and dictation. So this is very, very different. And, you know, it's not just making fun of, you know, Sleepy Joe and Crooked Joe, et cetera. After this huge bombshell report by the National Director of Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, he is literally calling out publicly and saying, these guys need to go down. He has completely thrown down the gauntlet. He's not messing around. I've never seen him. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments. I've never seen Trump this defiant, this revved up, this energetic. I've just never, ever seen it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But wait, he doesn't just call out Obama. I mean, he called out Clapper, he called out Clinton, he called out Comey, he called out even Joe Biden and the entire family. He also calls out Adam Schiff.
You're a developer, a very successful developer. How does a family afford to live in a one-bedroom apartment?
No, it looks like Adam Schiff really did a bad thing. They have him. Now, let's see what happens. It's not up to me. It's not up to, I stay out of it purposely. But it's mortgage loan fraud. It's a big deal. He defrauded banks and insurance companies and the federal government. But it's very simple. It's mortgage loan fraud. And you're right. It's a lot of people to live in a one-bedroom apartment, right? But he put it down. But he has a lot of other things far worse than that. So, no, Adam Schiff, they have him 100% on mortgage fraud. Now, if there's anybody else in this room except you would have no problem. But anybody else in this room, you'd have a problem. I'd have a problem.
Look at how he masterfully, artfully tells the press corps that I've got nothing to do with it. But you're right, it's fraud. He calls it what it is in his radical authenticity that won him the seat, won him the commander-in-chief position that we all wanted, that we all voted for. I voted 3 times for him. By the way, let me know, how many times did you vote for Trump, if at all? Let me know. Just put a 1, a 2, a 3. If you're like me, put a 3. Maybe you voted for him twice. Maybe you're a former libertarian, Democrat, independent. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. I'm doing some kind of data research and qualitative, quantitative. I would love to hear from you, so let me know. But he masterfully, artfully says, I've got nothing to do with it. But he's smart. He's brilliant. He knows the impact of his statements. He knows what kind of effect saying this in front of national television audiences have. And it worked because Obama is completely rattled. Check out this response right here that was just issued today by Obama's office. Okay, so here's a statement from President Obama's office. He says, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. That's pretty snarky right there, if you ask me. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the Bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee led by the then chairman, Marco Rubio, signed Patrick Rodenbush, Office of the President, Barack Obama. I don't know, Barack. It sounds to me like you're a little rattled. Why would you even respond if it's just a bunch of garbage and a bunch of distraction? Why would it merit a response? Sounds to me like you're a little rattled. Call me crazy. And by the way, if it's just a big nothing burger, if there was actual conclusion, why did the Mueller report not reflect that? Why was there, and Tulsi Gabbard really explains this well. I'm going to share with you her reaction to Barack Obama's response. Trump hasn't responded yet, but keep up to date with me. Follow, subscribe. I'll keep you up to date when he does. Why was there 2 different intelligence offices, one before the election, after the election? Why was it that they had no conclusive evidence, zero whatsoever, that there was any kind of Russian collusion between Trump and Putin and Russia interfering in our elections, but yet you still commandeered the intelligence communities to spread this lie? Why, if none of this was conclusive, why did you do this back in 2018 after the fact that Trump won, 2 years after, during the midterms? Why did you propagate this? I found this clip in 2018. Watch this.
You're undermining our alliances, cozying up to Russia. What happened to the Republican Party? Its central organizing principle in foreign policy was the fight against communism, and now they're cozying up to the former head of the KGB. To say that we do not pressure the Attorney General or the FBI to use the criminal justice system as a cudgel to punish our political opponents. And the closer that we get to Election Day, the more those invested in the politics of fear and division will do anything to hang on to their recent gains. Who want to keep us divided and keep us angry and keep us cynical because that helps them maintain the status quo. and keep their power and keep their privilege. In the end, the threat to our democracy doesn't just come from Donald Trump or the current batch of Republicans in Congress or the Koch brothers and their lobbyists or too much compromise from Democrats or Russian hacking. The biggest threat to our democracy is indifference.
No, Mr. President, the biggest threat to democracy is everything that you have sown into our country since your abysmal election as President of the United States. I was, this kind of reminds me, I was talking to my uncle the other day about this. And, President Obama, amazing, intelligent speaker. He's powerful. He's moving. And he's really good at what he does. He excels at the ability to articulate a narrative. The problem is when you're silver-tongued like that and you hide behind pieces of paper in academia, nobody knows this better than I do because I lived in that world. It's harder to detect. It's harder to pick up. And one of the things that I was talking to about my uncle was, don't ever forget this. This is really, really important. Eloquence is not synonymous with intelligence. Just because somebody can say that they have all these PhDs, law degrees, they went to Harvard, and they talk with this elocution does not necessarily mean that they're saying a damn thing. And ever since this guy became president, we have noticed, let me know in the comments, am I the only one? I never cared. I don't think the idea of gay this, gay that, transgender this, race this, black this, white this, none of it became more prominent in the national consciousness until after 2008. What happened to bringing us together? What happened to hope and change? He knew, that was in 2018, he knew all this Russia stuff was complete bogus, bupkis, nada, zero, a big nothing burger. Yet he still perpetuated it. Just like right before this last election, some of you probably forgot about this, he actually lazily perpetuated the Charlottesville, there's good people on both sides hoax right before the election of 2024. He is the divider in chief. He is the silver-tongued devil, artful liar in chief, who has sown more division and hate than this country has ever seen. He didn't bring anybody together. He brought us further and further away from each other. Here is Tulsi Gabbard, who puts it so articulately well. Listen to her response to this response from President Obama, calling it ridiculous and that it was conclusive and this is just a distraction. Check out Tulsi Gabbard right here.
From former President Obama there. He's saying that none of this makes any sense, that this is a distraction. What do you say to that?
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail in the over 100 documents that we released last week, in the documents that we will be releasing later this week, that point to the undeniable fact that you laid out in your introduction to this segment, is that the intelligence community had one assessment, that Russia did not have the intent or capability to try to impact the outcome of the U.S. election leading up to Election Day. The same assessment was made after Donald Trump was elected by the American people as president in 2016, defeating Hillary Clinton. And it wasn't until after that pulled President's Daily Brief document that you referenced that the Principals Committee was called in the National Security Council. And President Obama then directed Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. So this is the thing that I think people should pay attention to, is neither the message from President Obama's office, neither the statements coming from Democrats in Congress today and their friends in the propaganda media, none of them are addressing this fact that there was a shift, a 180-degree shift from the intelligence community's assessment leading up to the election to the one that President Obama directed be produced after Donald Trump won the election that completely contradicted those assessments that had come previously. The second thing I want to address that's very important, Laura, is that you in the clip that you played, you saw John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey stated with high confidence this January intelligence community assessment that they drafted at the direction of President Obama. The fact is that they used already discredited information like the Steele dossier. They knew it was discredited at that time, yet they used it as a source for this document that they claim to have high confidence in. They used intelligence that some of these intelligence community professionals rejected previously because of the lack of credibility and the lack of the ability to vet with any kind of confidence whether or not that information or intelligence was accurate and could be used for an assessment. There's a long laundry list of facts and intelligence reporting that directly contradict the statement coming from President Obama's office and those who are trying to deflect away from what actually happened, which was after Donald Trump was elected. Led by President Obama, there was an effort to create a document that would serve as a foundation for what would be a years-long coup against President Trump, therefore trying to subvert the will of the American people who sent him to the White House in 2016.
Everything Tulsi Gabbard just said right there, I'm on board with 1,000,000,000%. By the way, Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, appointed by President Trump, a former Democrat. RFK Jr., former Democrat. Elon Musk, former Democrat. President Trump, former Democrat. Are you starting to notice a pattern? When you wake up and actually use your common sense and you exercise your critical discernment and critical thinking, you just come to the natural conclusion that these Democrats, these hippocrats, that's why I call them the hippocrats. Here's my saying again. I'm going to say it once. I've said it twice. I'll say it again. When trees breathe, oxygen is released. When Democrats breathe, a cacophony of sewage lies is polluting the air. That's all they know how to do. They just lie constantly. And this pathetic, lame response by Obama, it's a bunch of garbage. It's just a diversion. It's just a distraction. Whatever. It's the same attitude, that highfalutin, narcissistic, look down your nose, I'm better than you air, that caused so much trouble during his 2 terms on the global stage, local stage, in society, culture, and beyond. And I truly hope that Pam Bondi, you have ample evidence for this. Something needs to happen. Somebody needs to be held accountable. Is it realistic that President Obama is going to be in handcuffs and set for trial and go through the same lengthy, embarrassing sham trial that President Trump did during an election year? Probably not, but somebody needs to go down. The American public needs accountability yesterday. So do your job, do something. You've got everything on your desk, supposedly. I mean, I don't want to even get started on her desk. Do something about it. If you're with me, tap that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing. It takes you 2 seconds. You can do it even if you're watching this on TV, on your remote, but it helps us out immeasurably because what we're doing here, the mission of our channel, is to make common sense go viral, to help our country sustain itself, maintain itself. I want the same country for my kids that I grew up in. I want the same America that I had for them, and I know you do too. So this is an easy, simple, costless way that you can play your part. Share, watch the entire video, tap that thumbs up. Also, check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them and you didn't watch them last time. You can tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. I always keep you abreast on the latest. And as always, may God bless you. May God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.